Aging Dump.
Yeah. Vlogging pod starts like a conversation. Cup of coffee with no destination. Just voices trying to understand what's happening across this land. From your stories told to the pages turned. Every question, every word, supported by SheSharesStudios.net.
Hello and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Something that most people probably don't realize is happening. Nursing homes deciding residents can no longer stay, but those residents have nowhere to go. Have you heard anything about this, Laura?
I haven't. Oh my God, am I going to be upset?
Well, the good news is the report's based in Ohio, so you're a little bit safe as far as your rage is going national. It's only located in my state. It's fine. It's fine. Everybody else can sit down, not be too outraged. No, we should be. We should be. Recently, an investigation brought attention to several cases involving Ohio nursing homes that attempted to discharge residents to homeless shelters. These weren't simply healthy adults looking for temporary housing. This should even make people more upset. Many of the residents involved were medically fragile, elderly, disabled, or living with cognitive impairments. So, federal inspections cited 7 Ohio nursing homes had attempted, you'll love this, to discharge residents. You ready for it?
I'm like, okay.
You cringe. Yeah, I know, I'd be cringing too. Homeless shelters.
Oh, what?
Yep. In most of these cases, the discharge was ultimately carried out.
Oh,
Yep. I know. One of the cases involved a woman living with diabetes, alcohol-induced dementia, a fractured leg, incontinence, and mobility issues. She arrived at a homeless shelter carrying a walker, a large bag of medications, and very little understanding of what had happened. Shelter staff reported that she had appeared frightened and confused. Another case involved a man who had reportedly lived in the same nursing home for more than 2 decades, 20 years. According to the investigation, after insurance payments stopped, he was transported to a homeless shelter without understanding where he had been taken. Ohio does not appear to maintain, this is just delightful, a public statewide count of nursing home residents discharged to homeless shelters. However, advocates who had been interviewed said they believe these types of cases have become more common. That just kind of like makes me sick.
mhm.
Oh, there goes my camera again. There we go. Click that. Ohio's Department of Aging estimates that approximately, you ready for the numbers? 13,000 people are discharged from nursing homes every month. That figure includes every type of discharge, not just those involving homeless shelters. Another question, hoping to understand, was why these cases are happening. Are new Medicaid regulations directly causing these discharges? As Medicaid reimbursement pressures continue and healthcare costs rise, these types of situations become more common, or are they becoming more common in the future? That remains an open question. I know when I first read it, I subscribed to Signal, Ohio, and I was like, the article was actually a response to, it was a follow-up response is what it was. A woman had wrote in after reading the article herself, and she couldn't find her husband. And that's where she found her husband, was at a homeless shelter that they had released him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is
Ah.
like frustrating, discouraging, heartbreaking. Like, what are we even doing? We just
Mhm.
there's no regard for
Well,
people.
you know, my biggest fear is that because you talk about the Medicaid and how it's been, really a focus and they've taken a lot more stuff on. They're trying to reorganize it. There's new Medicaid laws. And then, I mean, they haven't touched Medicare at this point, not from my knowledge. And I could be wrong on that too. Here's something, always message me. I'm willing to dive a little deeper into it. And then there's Social Security. Social Security, from what I understand, within what is it? Is it 7, 8 years? 22% of it, you're gonna lose 22% of your pay if you're on Social Security.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
No, but that doesn't even surprise me.
Yeah, they've basically talked about having to do a reform on it. Mike Johnson, who's the Speaker of the House, had made a statement that I saw all over a bunch of podcasts talking about how they were gonna have to reform it because it's basically they deemed it as can't think of the right word, like a luxury that we get, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's sort
Um,
of a necessity.
yeah. Well, yeah, for a for millions and millions of Americans, it's
Mhm.
necessity, and it's our money. We paid into it. But then you have, we're living a lot longer, and of course that should be our fault, right? We're living longer. Why?
Yeah,
Why? There would have been
well,
enough money.
very much.
Why? Oh, you gotta get those bad habits in, guys. Why are you living longer? Quit that jogging, Not. That's my sarcasm for anyone listening. You wanna live longer, you wanna try to be healthy. Let's not get, sidetracked here. But yeah, so I think now don't quote me on the figures, but I think it's 7 to 8 years that Social Security for anyone who's getting benefits now, you will lose, what is it? 20 or you'll be down to 22%. It's either 22% that you'll be leaving or 20%, 22% that you'd have. Of course, if you average in the cost of living, that's not much of anything,
Yeah, yeah, it really
because even
isn't.
if well, even at your 401ks, think you look at it, right, and you think, "Oh, okay, I'll be able to live like I'm doing right now." But no one cost in the inflation, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah. You'll be living like you do now after you live with 5 other people in the same household.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, the shelter providers who had been interviewed said they are not equipped. Who would thought, right? Who would have thought they wouldn't be equipped, right? To
Mhm.
provide medical care. They're not a nursing facility. Many residents arriving from nursing homes require multiple medications each day, assistant walking, specialized medical equipment, and ongoing supervision. In many cases, residents discharged to shelters end up transported to hospitals within just a few days because the shelters simply cannot provide the level of care they require. And so that raises questions. Are homeless shelters becoming the safety net when healthcare insurances, long term care placement, and family support all fail at the same time? Families have also alleged that some nursing home discharges were improper or unsafe, leading advocates to argue that stronger oversight and better discharge planning may be needed. As Medicaid policies and reimbursement systems continue to evolve, are these issues going to be on the rise? What you're thinking, Laura?
I hope it's not. It just I where's the morality in that as well? Like, you're a nursing home, and I just isn't there a better protocol than just dumping them at a homeless shelter? Which I'm assuming that the homeless shelter is already at capacity with other things going on that is causing a lot of people to be in different situations than they were before. The
Right.
cost of living, the cost of of just everything has gone up. So, some of those places are now a lot more fuller than they had been, and now adding into to people that need, like some of them probably need round the clock care, and yet they're dumped there. And, I think maybe the shelter's trying to do the best they can, but they are not, like, don't have what am I trying to say? They don't have
Capabilities, yeah,
capabilities
yeah.
of caring for someone, not that they wouldn't want to, but they just don't, and then what happens? They end up at a hospital, and then what happens then? The hospital will discharge them? Like, what if they don't have family? Like, that's just kinda heartless to do to a person just because are older and elderly and on medication and all that they're still people.
Right. Well, I'm gonna propose something that's like, probably people will be, like, throwing stones at me. A system where everyone in a country has access to healthcare, regardless of their income, employment, or pre-existing medication or medical conditions. And it doesn't necessarily mean that healthcare is free. It means everyone is covered in some way, you know, and they call that universal healthcare, you know? Yeah, I think it's like this for me. We classify electricity as kinda like you need food. You need food, you need electricity. You need some sort of power to be able to keep warm, to keep cool. It's necessity of human living,
Mhm,
and so is your healthcare. And I have never understood why we have insurance like that, you know?
mhm,
I can kinda see it on your cars, your homes, but on your body, you know what I mean? I just don't even know how you would rate the curb appeal, like a car, you know what I mean? Yeah. And
I mean, if we're
we
gonna do it
already
like a
know.
chart, doesn't that mean it goes down as as you get older?
Right? Right? Like, yeah, and that's basically what's happening. You look at it like this. If you are okay, so I am 53. If I were to get life insurance, it would cost a fortune. Luckily for my husband and I, we logged it in when we hit 30, so
Mhm,
20 years ago. And if you do that, you can lock your premium in, so that's the rest of what you pay for the rest of your life. So, I only pay $25 a month for my life insurance policy, and then we pay, like, $53 on my husband's. So but as you get older, you see what I'm saying? So, like, if I were 53 now, you know oh, I am 53 now, hello. Uh, watch my wording there. If I were to get life insurance now at 53, that's a better phrasing of words, it would cost me a lot more.
yeah,
And if you're 80 years old, a lot of the times, I think it's what we got offered, we had an insurance premium come in the mail the other day, and we were looking at it, and they offer it up until 78 years old. And I was like, "You only offer it till 78." You're putting a cutoff time on this life insurance policy that you're
right,
allowed to get one. So, as long as you're before 78, you could get this life insurance policy, and it was just a basic premium, it wasn't
mhm,
anything elaborate, wasn't a large sum of money, but that is extraordinarily astounding to me, and but it's just like that, you know what I'm saying? So and the thing about a lot of people, like, because Medicaid was one of those things when my father got sick and he was in a nursing home for a little while, I almost got him on Medicaid, but my father, he passed before that became an issue.
mhm,
But one of the things is because I felt that it was gonna be a continuing thing because 'cause he'd already been in before for his health. It
mhm,
wasn't something we were trying to keep him there, it was, like a recovery period. But the longer you're there, you know, because, like, let me break this down. You may or may not know, and you tell me if you do, tell me to shut up. Like Medicare, my father and my mother's premiums at the time, whether it's continuously this way, but At the time, they have it where you have a certain amount of stay for a year, per year. You have a certain amount of stay that you could stay at a nursing facility. And then they have what is like an all-time number, you know? So, and it's probably a little larger, but once you use those days are gone. They're not reestablished. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Makes sense.
So, okay, and that's for Medicare. Well, my fear was that because this was reoccurring, this was like the second time. One had happened the prior year and this year, but I was worried about the rollover because it was really close as far as the timing. And so we were worried if whether or not the days would go and we would have to go into those days that don't get reissued every year. You know, those one days, those days that are just issued and when they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
And so and then the longer you stay, now I don't know how this is every state and don't take my word for this, but from what I understand, a lot of the times they can't like take your holdings. If you're going to be in there for a long time, they can take your holdings, like your house and everything like that, your social security, and they give you a small allotment of money for like spending cash, but they would take the larger sum, any kind of things like savings or accounts that you have to pay for your stay. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they can I mean, I'm assuming that they would discuss it with parents. I don't they're not parents, families, that they would have to, get some sort of permission or what, or you would have to discuss it with another place for stay if it was a permanent solution. But so we looked into Medicaid because Ohio is one interesting place that Medicaid would pay for your time in a nursing home. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Without taking your house. So, like, in my parents' consideration, my mom was still living, and she would need a place to stay, so, or they wouldn't take her the cars or so what they would do in those circumstances is they would look at her bills, her livelihood, and they wouldn't take that stuff to keep because that would be hers, you see what I'm saying? They wouldn't take the
Yeah.
house because she would need a place to stay. They might take a certain amount of his money. That's why we were thinking because it would end up being out of pocket, for us to have to pay for his care if
Mhm.
his Medicare had run out of the days. So I was actually looking at Medicaid because of the option that it would take care. Now, I don't even know how it is now under this reform because I don't have Medicaid. But that kind of realization of people that are already reliant on those kind of setups is frightening.
Mhm.
So, I mean, does that
That's
make any sense?
uncertainty, you know?
Well, yeah. But again, that's just my realization when we were going through it. I don't know if that still is it. So, you know, and again, this was just my incidents
It's
of,
probably worse. It's probably worse now.
oh, I can only imagine. You know, reading this article, it just scares the heck out of me,
Mhm.
it just scares the heck out of me. I'm not gonna be young forever. Where am I going? Well, I wanna get on that healthy kick. Put this wine bottle away from me. But it's a little frightening on some of that things. So our sources for today, and like I think I mentioned that I read, I'm part of it. I get it sent to me, which is very interesting. If you're in Ohio, it's called Signal, Ohio. This article was Ohio nursing homes are dumping patients at homeless shelters. WOSU, Ohio's nursing homes are dumping patients at homeless shelters. People, we were in People magazine, nice. Diabetic women with form of dementia was dumped by nursing homes on sidewalk of homeless shelter. Center for Medicare Advocacy, Ohio, how to challenge unsafe nursing home discharges. Ohio Department of Aging, Long-Term Care. I'm going to mispronunciation this. Obudsman, Ombudsman. Those long words, they don't like me. Thank you for listening, as always. Until next time, bye bye for now.